In every legend, there's a sliver of truth. In every tragedy, a forgotten warning. They Were Both Found Dead is your guide through the eerie and the unexplained, where history collides with horror, and not everyone makes it out alive.
Welcome to They Were Both Found Dead. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Ramsey, and today we're talking about prisons. Hi, if you are seeing this, that means that this episode was made before we decided to go into two-parters. Why? This episode begins with us just immediately starting talking about things. So this is me acknowledging, hello, thank you for coming here. I hope you enjoy this part too. Enjoy the story. There's a certain kind of heat that hangs over the Arizona desert. Out in that heat sits a network of prisons that have earned a reputation as some of the most dangerous, most mismanaged, and most corrupt in history in the country.
Dang.
That's what I meant to say. The Arizona state prison complexes were supposed to represent modern corrections, clean, secure, and efficient. But what they became was a system defined by indifference, where neglect isn't an accident, it's policy. Arizona's prison system holds roughly 40,000 people across more than a dozen facilities. It's one of the highest incarceration rates in America, which has the highest prison rate in the world.
Oh.
In 2015, the United States had 4.4% of the world's population.
Oh, are you serious?
Just as the population, the whole world.
I thought in prison. I was like,
it's
what
worse.
the fuck?
It's way worse. It has 4.4% of the world's population, but 21% of the world prison population. So way worse than 4.4.
No, I knew they had a lot of incarcerated people, though.
It's because we have private prisons, yeah. For years, it's been a place where the word punishment meant more than rehabilitation. Overcrowding was ignored, medical care was cut to the bone, and guards learned to turn their heads. The state's budget for incarceration ballooned, but somehow the living conditions kept getting worse. A lot of that has to do with privatization. Arizona was one of the first states to aggressively hand over its prisons to private companies, corporations like CoreCivic and Geo Group, whose profits depend on keeping beds full. The result was predictable. Sentences got longer, parole got harder, and basic care got cheaper. Every inmate became a number on a spreadsheet and a contract to be fulfilled. Reports started trickling out in the 2000s, not from journalists, but from grieving families. Letters from inmates describe broken toilets, moldy food, and guards ignoring assaults, and medical requests that vanished into filing cabinets. By 2010, there were so many lawsuits that the state tried to centralize complaints just to keep track of them. But even that couldn't cover the cracks. One of the earliest stories to break through the silence was about Marcia Powell. She was a 48-year-old woman serving a short sentence for sex work, just a couple of years. In May 2009, guards put her in an outdoor holding cage in Goodyear, Arizona, to cool off after a verbal argument. It was 107 degrees outside. They left her there in the desert for 4 hours. When she screamed for water, they ignored her. When she collapsed, they assumed she was faking. By the time anyone opened the cage, her internal temperature was 108 degrees. She died in the hospital that night. Her death was ruled a homicide, but no one was ever convicted.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many things happen and no one's held responsible.
Yeah.
So the director of the Department of Corrections at the time called it a system failure, but the system didn't fail. It worked exactly as designed. It was built to dehumanize and to make sure people like Marcia weren't seen as people at all. And hers isn't the only story like that. Around the same time, a diabetic inmate named Tony Lester begged for insulin for days. He'd been flagged for suicide watch, but was left alone with a razor. He cut himself open in his cell while guards walked past. His death was later called preventable, which in Arizona's prisons might as well mean inevitable. Even when people survive, they don't come out the same. Former inmates talk about guards who mock them when they're sick, officers who trade contraband for sex, and broken air conditioning systems that leave entire cell blocks sitting in 120-degree heat.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about if prisons had AC or not. And, if it was just, the same temperature it is outside.
I mean, Arizona, it gets, 100, literally over 100, and they're inside baking, and the sun's getting down, so it's cooking it and making it hotter. You have to have AC. Inside the walls, it's all cement, heat, and noise, but outside, the world barely notices. When journalists started investigating, the state fought back. Arizona passed laws that made it harder for the public to access information about prison operations, citing security. They even made it illegal to photograph inside private prisons without permission. Transparency was replaced by silence. And that silence allowed everything to rot. By the late 2010s, internal audits showed the system was collapsing under its own neglect. Staff shortages, ignored inspections, and a suicide rate double the national average for prisons. But even then, the people in charge didn't admit anything was wrong. When reporters asked former director Charles Ryan about overcrowding, He said the conditions were not ideal, but manageable. A few months later, another inmate died of dehydration in a cell with a broken sink. That was Arizona's version of manageable. By 2020, the cracks in Arizona's prison system weren't cracks anymore. They were sinkholes swallowing people alive. Reports started surfacing from guards and whistleblowers who had just had enough, people who were beginning to say the quiet parts out loud. A group of former correction officers came forward with footage from inside. Cells filled with sewage, broken locks, and units so understaffed the officers were told to just pretend they'd done head counts. One officer said that when alarms went off, there was nobody left to respond. They'd all been reassigned to fill other gaps. And at the top, no one was listening. The director of the Department of Corrections, Charles Ryan, the same one who called the system manageable, was quietly allowed to retire after an internal investigation found years of falsified reports and ignored complaints. He walked away with a full pension. The same can't be said for the people who died under his watch.
This is pissing me off. That's
yeah.
a lot.
I'm really glad you have a light one after this.
Yeah.
Between 2019 and 2021, dozens of inmates died in Arizona custody, many from causes that read like punchlines if they weren't so brutal. One man died from an untreated hernia, another from heat stroke in a cell with no ventilation, and several from suicide after begging for psychiatric help that never came. The Parsons versus Ryan class action lawsuit laid it all out in horrifying detail. Inmates describing medical staff who threw pills through cell doors, who refused to see people bleeding, who wrote resolved next to medical request without ever opening the file. The case dragged on for years.
Is there no inspections in prisons, or is that not a thing?
They're private, so it's up to them.
Wow.
It's a private business.
They make money out of all the prisoners they have, right?
Yep.
The more prisoners, the more
money.
Make.
And the less money they spend on the prisoners, the more they keep. And that's I understand why people are like, no, government overreach, government shouldn't be and stuff. But this is what the lack of government overreach, this is what it produces. If you don't have standards and certain people going in to make sure their standards are met, the greedy people are going to abuse that system, and it's going to end up in more people hurt.
You just need good government, I guess.
Yeah, you have to really it's hard. It is hard because if you get bad government, then they can do horrible shit. But you do need you need someone there to make sure that that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So the case dragged on for years, but the state fought every step of the way. They didn't fix the problem. They just paid lawyers to say that it didn't exist. When a judge finally ruled that Arizona's Department of Corrections had shown pervasive indifference and systemic cruelty, it wasn't news to anyone inside. It was just confirmation of what they already knew. Nobody cares until the paperwork gets embarrassing. And even then, reform is a myth. I wish that wasn't true, but it feels like it is at this point.
Yeah.
After the ruling, Arizona promised to overhaul everything. New leadership, more transparency, improved health care. But pretty much.
Yeah, I figured.
Within months, the same stories kept coming. Guards using pepper spray as punishment, broken cameras, solitary confinement units where people were left for years. One whistleblower described a man in a mental health cell who screamed for days before he just stopped. When staff finally opened the door, he was dead. They wrote natural causes on the report. Another story that made it out was David Stringer, a man who died of dehydration in a locked cell after drinking from the toilet because his sink was broken. Prison officials claimed he refused water.
He's drinking out of the toilet.
Literally. And then again, this is Arizona.
Yeah. And you see all these other things that are happening. How do they get... Yeah, I don't know.
There's a word for that. It's evil.
Corruption.
And it's not just the inmates who pay the price. Guards and staff operate in constant chaos. Understaffed shifts, 16-hour days, mandatory overtime. People burn out, snap, quit. The few who speak up are labeled security risks. That's why people, when ACAB, so many people don't understand. It's not saying that literally everyone that wants to be a cop is a horrible person. There's plenty of great people who want to be cops. It's a bastardized system that you cannot participate in without them being it's not all cops are bad. It's all cops are bastards because it's a bastardized system. No matter how good you want to be, all the cops that go in and want to be good and then say something, they have their stories out there. Go listen to them.
Yeah.
They say something and then they get blacklisted. So by 2023, the situation got so dire that the governor admitted the system was unsustainable. But instead of addressing root causes, the privatization, the endless punishment loops, the deliberate dehumanization, they threw money at tech.
Huh?
Digital check-ins, automated logs, surveillance that watches everything except the actual problem.
Okay.
Cheaper to pay a computer, I guess, once than someone the whole salary.
Yeah, what's the point of surveillance cameras if nobody's actually surveilling?
And how much of surveillance is going to slowly become AI watching it? What? There's already AI security of like AI watching.
Really? What do they look for? Just movement or something? Like a person?
Like anything dangerous, yeah, or like someone where they're not supposed to be, I guess.
Huh, interesting. That's cool. But not? I don't know.
It freaks me out that most of the like really good AI I see are like security camera footage.
Yeah.
That's the only AI I've been tricked by is security camera footage.
Really?
Like that lady with her cats.
Are you two completely insane?
I feel like whenever I see a security cam video in general, I'm just like, oh, is this AI or not?
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a scary time. Jeffrey Epstein was killed before AI was around. Period.
Huh?
I don't want people to be like, Jeffrey Epstein's AI. He was killed. He did not kill himself, and it was not AI. Anyway, sorry. Well, because the truth is, it's easier to build new cameras than to build accountability. Like we were talking.
Good line.
It was a good line. I kind of fucked myself over not saying it earlier.
Yeah.
Arizona State Prison isn't a single facility. It's a web. Florence, Iman, Perryville, Lewis, each with its own history of scandal, abuse, or cover-up. But they all orbit the same idea, that once you're inside, your life doesn't matter. And the state has turned that idea into profit. Did you hear my stomach?
Was that your stomach?
That was my stomach.
That was like the wall or something.
No, that was my tongue. And the state has turned the idea into profit. Private contractors bill millions every year to provide food, healthcare, and maintenance. And the cheaper their services, the bigger their profit margin. And I didn't specify this. They're billing the state, which means it's taxpayer money that are paying these private corporations millions. And mind you, I know a lot of people don't know this. When you leave prison, you owe a bill.
Yeah. You have to pay like a fee or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Super crazy, yeah. They always check up on you too, which I mean
that one I get more.
Yeah,
I'm a big believer in parole, but like they like weaponize parole.
It's like it's already hard to get out that way, and then you just make it harder.
Yeah,
and like there's no ways for you to go back into society, kind of deal. Maybe 100%. There's like some programs or something, but
they're rare and they're not that effective.
I know, and then people just lead to doing badder things and then going back to prison again and
making minor criminals like hardcore criminals.
Exactly, like it's just a cycle.
And the cheaper their services, the bigger their profit margin. That's why inmates eat spoiled meat. That's why medicine runs out. That's why one of the richest states in the country keeps pretending it can't afford human decency. And somehow, the system keeps selling this as justice. But justice does not leave people to bake to death in cages. Justice doesn't mean losing your life over a broken sink or a bag of insulin. And it definitely doesn't mean letting corporations decide who deserves to live well and who dies quietly. The Arizona Department of Corrections has had decades to fix itself, and it hasn't, because it does not have to. Until voters and taxpayers decide that prisons aren't supposed to be death sentences, nothing changes. Support organizations that fight for prison oversight, like the ACLU of Arizona, AFSC of Tucson, or local reentry programs that help people rebuild after incarceration. Read what former inmates actually say. Listen to the families of those who never came home. Because these places thrive in silence, and the only way to tear down silence is with noise.
Wow, I feel like I was listening to a speech or something, Ramsey. That was really good. Yeah, like at a protest. That's cool.
Arizona built its prisons on punishment. It's up to the rest of us to decide whether that punishment ends at the gate or keeps swallowing people whole.
Wow.
Fucking do something, everyone, including me.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is like a silent killer, honestly. Like, you don't really even realize all that stuff is happening.
It's horrific.
It's out of, like, this society's eye or something.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. All right, so now I'm going on to mine. This is very lighthearted, different. Very different than that.
God.
So this is the Halden Prison. In the dense pine forest of southeastern Norway, surrounded by still air and quiet trees, sits one of the most unusual prisons in the world, Halden Prison. It is a maximum security facility, but it doesn't look like one. There are no guard towers, no coils of barbed wire, no men with rifles standing watch. Instead, you'll find walking paths, gardens, and buildings covered in warm wood and soft brick.
It's maximum security?
Yes.
That's okay.
Halden opened in 2010 after more than a decade of planning. It cost roughly $250 million to build, making it one of the most expensive prisons in Europe. But its purpose wasn't control; it was rehabilitation.
Which is like that should be the
But I'll see. In Norway, the philosophy behind incarceration is simple: the punishment is the loss of freedom, nothing more. Everything beyond that should prepare people to live responsibly once they're released.
Okay.
So, like, really, when do you, like, start? Like, this is a very... let me keep talking. The prison was designed like a small village. Inside, there's a school, workshops, music rooms, a recording studio, a library, even a climbing wall. Inmates can take classes, learn trades, or work in the kitchen. They earn small daily wages for participating, about $9 a day, meant to encourage them to stay active and social. Each cell is about 10 square meters. It has a television, desk, mini fridge, and private bathroom with a shower. The windows have no bars, only reinforced glass to let in natural light.
Okay.
Yeah, every 10 to 12 cells share a small kitchen and lounge where inmates cook, eat, and watch TV together.
This sounds like a dorm.
I know, that's what I'm talking about. The idea is to make daily life feel as close to normal as possible.
See, I feel like how much freedom are you really losing then in that? So, like, okay, if you brutally murder someone...
Oh, that's scary.
My cat's food just went off.
Okay.
If you brutally murder someone, like, if someone murdered you and then they went to that prison, that would bother me.
Yeah, it's just so weird to think about. Like, at what point is not the punishment and just the rehabilitation kind of aspect of it? Like, there you need a, kind of a balance of the two. I
feel like for all non-physical crimes, I was going to say non-violent, but I don't know if, like, sex crimes are considered violent. So, like, if you rape a 4-year-old, I still think I consider that a violent crime.
Yeah.
I think, like, maybe that would work for all non-violent crimes.
Like fraud and, like,
money laundering, drugs, stuff like sex work. That would totally make sense. And that would actually be about, like, rehabilitation. But I don't know, for violent crimes, I don't know.
Who knows? I think it seems like they are, like, violent people in here.
Is it working, though? I guess that's really what it comes down to.
We'll see. Outside, there's a soccer field, forest trails, and small courtyards filled with birch and pine trees.
This is way nicer than where I live.
I know. I like it. Like, people would want to live here.
I was gonna say, if I didn't, like, have, like, you and my family and my partner, like, if I was just, like, alone and sad, I'd be like, you know what? That sounds awesome.
Let me commit a crime. Even nature is part of the therapy, a reminder of the world that awaits beyond the walls. The design was intentional. The Danish and Norwegian architects behind Halden believed that the smaller the gap between life inside and life outside, the easier the transition when freedom returns.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
You see, it's kind of hard to, like, not want this, but also it's hard to want this because
it is a part of me that's against it is like revenge, which, like, there is something to be said about how that's
I know, exactly. It's
but also,
kind of what's rooted. Yeah, the materials themselves carry meaning. Steel for security, wood for rehabilitation and growth. Even the
wood for growth.
Shut up, Percy. Even the art was planned. The prison commissioned Norwegian graffiti artist Dalk to paint murals throughout the facility.
I was really hoping you were going to say Banksy, because that'd be really funny.
What is that?
Banksy. Do you go outside?
What? I don't know what that is.
He's, like, the most famous artist that's alive right now.
Graffiti?
He does graffiti, yeah. And people, like, supposedly don't know who he is. I think some people might have come out. But, like, yeah, and he does, like, political art, and it's worth, like, millions. And, like, he sold, like, one really, really, really expensive one for, like, millions at art show, and it's shredded.
Oh, I saw that one.
That's Banksy. Yep.
Part of $1 million art, but the colors and images soften the environment, lowering tension and giving inmates something to connect to. I mean, a lot of things are lowering tension, so...
It sounds like a spa.
I know. Oh, yeah, it does. But the architecture is only part of the system. The staff at Halden work under a principle called dynamic security. Guards don't carry weapons. Instead, they build trust through constant human interaction. They share meals with inmates. They play sports with them, talk with them. They act as mentors more than enforcers.
Okay, I fuck with that. Pretty hard.
Pretty good, huh?
But, like, okay, then you think about the fact, like, this guy ate a kid.
Oh my god.
I say, okay, well, I kind of don't want him to be having a good time, actually.
That's crazy. You see, it's such a, mind thing that you really don't know if this is good or not.
Yeah.
Many guards are trained in psychology or social work, and half are women. A deliberate choice meant to reduce aggression and create a calmer environment. Conflicts are handled through mediation rather than force. Okay. Isolation or transfer is used only as a last resort. It's an approach that feels almost utopian, and it's received both praise and backlash, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of literally right now.
Architects and reform advocates around the world have called Halden the most humane prison on earth. Its design has won international awards, and its philosophy has influenced prison reform from Scotland to the Netherlands. But critics, especially conservatives, call it too lenient, too soft on crime. Some have argued that it feels more like a college dorm than a correctional facility.
Don't call me conservative.
Yeah. Oh.
Literally, don't ever call me conservative again. I'm still an American, okay? And we're so far right, like, as a country.
I know. One British visitor described it as a prison utopia, saying it was hard to imagine a system more liberal. Huh?
I mean, yeah. That makes me like it more.
There you go. Also, I feel like there's less crime in Norway. Like, way less crime.
See, I was kind of thinking that too, because we're also thinking of it as like our day-to-day in Americans, whereas Norway has a lot more day-to-day help, and like they have a lot less homeless and everything like that. So it does make more sense that they would treat their prisoners better, and it would feel less like a smack in the face.
Yeah, they also might like pick and choose sometimes, like who goes to this prison. Like that's probably like not like the very, very aggressive
but people. It's maximum security, which inherently means that it is the aggressive people.
Yeah.
Which is what makes me keep going back and forth. Like, the maximum security is what throws me off. Like, how?
I don't know. I don't even know how this is like. How did they not escape this place either? If there's like no people like, on watch and no barbed wire.
Just run.
I don't know if people want to leave.
That's true. That's true.
Isn't that crazy? So, like, it's not even taking away their freedom, per se.
That's true, too, because there's like a level of choosing to stay there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That made me like it less again.
Yet the numbers speak for themselves. Norway's success rate, the percentage of inmates who reoffend after release, is around 20%. In the United States, it's 3 times higher. Halden's administrators believe that's no accident. When people are treated like humans, they're more likely to act like humans. Still, Halden is not without its dark questions. Behind its bright halls and forest paths lie a quiet ethical tension. How much comfort should those who've caused harm be given? And at what point does rehabilitation start to blur with forgiveness?
I'm human. I'm flawed. So, like, what you have to really listen to is not your own biases, but the facts. And the facts say it's working.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, only 20%, which is pretty high. I didn't know that high here. What is it, 60%?
Oh, yeah, you're way... Once you've, like, served, like, you're in. That's why they call it, like, the pipeline. And, like, what you were saying earlier, like, it's hard to re-enter society. That's, I believe, that's intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I feel like too lenient. This is too lenient. I feel like it still should be lenient, but not this hard. Like, yeah, I feel like they shouldn't have, like, TVs. Like, they can have books.
And their room is a kind of, like, even our prisons usually have, like, TVs in the rec room.
In the rec room, yeah, but not in their thing. They have, like, a mini fridge and everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, like, just, like, be able to just walk in wherever, and that's a lot. No fences.
Yeah,
we have fences around our preschool. Like,
I'm guessing there's a wall, but not like a fence, not like a barbed wires and stuff like that.
Okay, a wall. Okay,
I was picturing just like open space. No, I don't think they do that.
Like you're just pulling up to a really nice high school.
No.
But it could not have been more different than the Supermax one.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's just weird things to think about.
In the United States, they literally look at like inner cities. So like they're doing like it's mostly it's targeting Black people and Black communities.
Yeah.
And they literally look at like their what's happening in elementary schools and like what the test scores and stuff are, and then plan building future prisons around that.
Oh my god.
And that's not like a guess, that's like a known fact.
Oh my god, are you serious? That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Already planning for more prisons?
I mean, yeah, you got plan ahead, but like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oof. Anyway.
So last but not least, I am talking about the old Ohio State Penitentiary in Columbus. It opened in 1834 and operated for over a century right in the heart of the city. The one that would go down in history, not just for how many men it held, but for how many it failed.
Oh, that's sad.
It started out like most prisons did, built from limestone, massive and intimidating, more fortress than correctional facility.
Yeah.
The walls were 40 feet high, 6 feet thick, and built to last forever. Sounds like the Titanic.
Yeah.
We all know how that went. Inside, it was overcrowded almost immediately. By the early 1900s, it was holding more than double what it was designed for. Over 4,000 inmates crammed into cells meant for half that number. Conditions were hell. Men slept in shifts. There were no real plumbing systems for decades. You'd get thrown in the hole for weeks for something as simple as talking back.
Oh.
Sounds like my childhood.
That's crazy.
It wasn't reform, it was control, and Ohio officials knew it. That started the They'd get reports from visiting clergy and inspectors describing it as a breeding ground for disease and insanity. But the real breaking point came in 1930. On April 21st, a fire broke out inside the main cell block, a fire that would become one of the deadliest prison disasters in American history. It started just after dinner near one of the workshops.
Oh, wait, this is an incident, not the prison?
This is an incident.
Oh,
I also
thinking outside the box, yeah.
No one knows exactly how it began. Some said it was an accident, a dropped cigarette. Others claimed it was sabotage. That was sabotage.
Yeah, I see that.
Did you say sandwich?
No, I see that.
Sandwich?
Are you hungry?
No, it's The Office.
Oh.
But the truth is, it didn't really matter how it started. What mattered was how fast it spread and how little the prisoners could do about it.
Oh, yeah.
The old Ohio Penitentiary was made of stone and iron, but the doors, the bunks, and the bedding, all of it was wood. And once the flames reached the cells, they burned hot and fast.
Oh, and they couldn't get out. Nobody opened the doors.
It's cells. I mean, yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah. Guards ran for the keys, but locks jammed. Some of the keys didn't fit right. Others were too hot to handle. Men screamed, pounded on the bars, begged for help.
Oh, God.
Some broke off pieces of their cots and tried to pry the locks open. Others wrapped themselves in wet sheets, hoping it would make it through the smoke. There are reports that some guards ran back and forth, unlocking cells while the walls were already glowing red.
Oh, my God.
That's like hell.
Yeah.
Others were seen running out, choking on smoke, faces burned, eyes streaming. The city fire department arrived, but by then the upper levels were already engulfed in flames. They aimed hoses through the windows while men inside tried to climb up the bars to escape the smoke. The air filled with the sounds of metal bending, glass breaking, men praying, and men dying. In the end, 322 inmates were killed. That's an insane amount of people.
300.
I mean, just picture 20 people in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people.
It is. Burned alive.
Some burned alive in their locked cells. Others suffocated in the smoke before the flames reached them.
Oh.
The morgue overflowed. They used makeshift tables in the prison yard to lay out the dead. And when investigators came through afterward, what they found was haunting. Cell doors fused shut by the heat, bodies still clutching the bars. Some positioned near the floors where they tried to find air.
Oh, God.
Public outrage was immediate. Thank goodness. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Newspapers called it a mass execution by neglect. Families demanded answers, but the state tried to downplay it, as they always do. Officials insisted that everything that could be done was done, that the guards were heroes, that it was just an unfortunate tragedy. Except there had been warnings.
I mean, like, what was your plan? Like, is there emergency plans in prisons?
There are now, because of situations like this. Like, the only reason, for example, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. Yeah. Have you heard of that? No. It was a factory in New York, and it was like mostly women that worked there. And they would literally lock the doors during work hours so they couldn't get out. And there was a huge fire. So a ton of them died. And like the fire safety stuff were like buckets of water. Like they had one bucket of water every floor.
Oh, how old was that? Is that like 1960s or something?
I think that was like sometime in the early to middle 1900s. But that's why like we have fire safety exits now. I see. Is because the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Yeah. So yeah, prisons probably have a lot more stuff now because of this specific fire. Like we always talk about, like the rules are written in blood. Yes. That's why we have to have rules. Mm-hmm. So reports from as early as 1928 said that the prison was a fire hazard, that there was no proper evacuation plan. Well, that was their plan, nothing. That the overcrowding made it impossible to save everyone in time. And they knew, they just didn't care enough to fix it. So again, those warning reports began in 1928. The fire was in 1930. So the fire became a symbol of what the American prison system really was back then, and even now. Not about safety or rehabilitation, but about containment. About keeping people out of sight, out of mind, and under control until something went catastrophically wrong.
That's so bad.
And the fire wasn't the end of the suffering inside those walls. Over the next few decades, the prison would continue to rack up reports of abuse, disease, and corruption. By the 1960s, there were riots, hunger strikes, and calls to reform. It didn't help that guards were poorly paid and undertrained, or that the system was built on punishment instead of prevention. It's a lot like, again, with like Black Lives Matter and ACAB and prison and like police reform. Police, the things keep getting cut, and they keep getting like, okay, now everyone with mental health issues, you have to take care of this, and they keep getting more and more responsibility. It's not fair to them either.
Yeah.
And people who are like super pro cop ignore that. Cops are also getting screwed in the current system. It's not good for anyone. By 1979, the old Ohio State Penitentiary finally closed its doors for good. The state demolished most of the structure. Parts of the site eventually became what's now the Arena District of Columbus, a fancy, modern neighborhood built literally over the ashes of one of the worst prison disasters in U.S. history. And it's weird because if you walk through that area today, there's almost no trace of what happened there. No memorial, no marker, just restaurants, apartments, a baseball stadium. You would never know that underneath your feet, hundreds of men once burned to death behind locked iron doors.
Damn. I feel like you can say that about a lot of places.
Yeah, like the history of the land.
Like somebody could have died right here.
They did.
Oh.
They were about to.
Oh.
It literally, like, I went through it on Google Maps, and it reminded me of the old market.
Why?
Like, it was just, like, bars, like, a cute little area. Like, it was cute.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but this was where a prison was, where a ton of men died.
There was a prison in the old market?
No, it reminded me of the old market.
Oh,
like
I see.
What it looks like now.
I see.
And it's not just the cruelty, though that's bad enough, but the erasure. The way something that horrific can just disappear when it's no longer convenient to remember. When we talk about prisons in America, people like to focus on reform, on progress, like we've somehow evolved past all of that. But as we've proven today, that still is very much happening. The overcrowding, the neglect, and the violence. We have really just built newer walls and better locks, but the system's still the same. The old Ohio State Penitentiary burned nearly a century ago, but its story still echoes. It's a warning about what happens when human lives are treated as disposable. And if we forget it, if we keep pretending our prison system is somehow separate from that history, then we're doomed to keep repeating it.
Yeah. Never. Endless cycle.
Endless cycle.
You know, it reminds me of 9/11, the burning of the prisoners, like how they couldn't leave and they died. You know?
Oh, yeah. What the fuck?
By burning and stuff.
Bibber, Jesus Christ. Stop. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. It is very 9/11 reminiscent. Or like even the Triangle Strawberries Factory, like they were jumping out the windows the way they were at 9/11.
Oh, yeah. You know, today there was a lot of traffic on the highway, and there was like a truck that was like ash. Like the front part of it was completely dark and ash, and there was like ash all over because it burnt so hard.
Oh, I thought... Wait, how did you start that story?
On the highway, there was a lot of traffic.
Today?
Yes, on the freeway.
Oh, what burnt so hard?
The truck. The truck burnt so hard.
There was a fire? The truck was on fire?
Yes, but it wasn't on fire anymore. But it was...
Oh my God.
It was like... What?
I don't know. I couldn't pick it. Wow, that's
yeah,
intense.
I didn't explain that well, but...
Could you imagine being like on the highway and your fucking car's on fire?
Yeah, that was crazy. But it burned so hard that it was like ash. Like the bus itself, like the whole front of it was like black. And,
that's insane.
And it was dust.
Can you imagine how hot that fire was?
I know.
Oh my God.
That's what you're driving every day, you know?
When I was at Dollar Tree today, my total was 9/11. And then they're like, do you want to donate a toy? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, good. It'll make your total not 9/11 anymore. And I was like, okay, yeah, period.
That's funny.
And then they're like, yeah, 9/11 was bad. I was like, yeah.
Obviously. 9/11 was bad.
And then we had like a whole conversation about 9/11. And then I went to see you. At Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree. Yeah, a lot of people are born on 9/11. I always see their IDs in the
That's
bank.
Funny.
And yeah. I don't know how they deal about that.
A lot of people are born in September because Christmas is 9 months before. I know for a fact I was conceived at a work Christmas party.
I don't want to hear that, Ramsey.
You think I wanted to hear it? It's my parents.
All right, well, yeah.
Sorry about, as usual, sorry about the Debbie Downer. I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, mine was better than you. I mean, mine was less.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Debbie
saying.
Downer.
Sorry for the Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
We got the good person over here, and then we got the wah over here.
It works, though. It works.
Balances.
So,
I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're angry, because I'm angry, and you should be angry, and vote like you're angry.
exactly. We can change this, guys. We can make it different.
Hopefully. We can try. Next episode is states.
States.
What state are we going to do?
Who knows? We'll see next time.
You'll have to log in and see.
Or just look at the next video, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
unless you're watching this when it comes out, in which case, thank you.
Love you guys.
I love you.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.